everyone. It is library time today. It's Mrs. Ward.
And Mrs. Richards. Hi, everybody. I miss you. Look, we have finished our boot finally. We've read every single 2x2 this year. Isn't that exciting? And soon we're going to send you away to vote for your favorite. So right now, Mrs. Ward and I are going to go through each book and remind you what each one is about. Okay?
All right, so the first one we're going to look at is the one we did very recently. It was Misunderstood Shark. If you watched my read aloud, you read this already, but it's about the shark that's getting interviewed, but he keeps going off and trying to bite people. So that's Misunderstood Shark.
And then we have Truck Full of Ducks. This is a great one about the man driving the ducks around, trying to find where they were supposed to go, and then they were worried they were going to get eaten by the big bad wolf.
This is the Crunch, the Shy Dinosaur. We did this really early on, and it was about the dinosaur who was so shy. He didn't like anything loud, and he always wanted to hide away, and so you had to be very quiet when he was around.
Next is Teddy's favorite toy. Teddy's favorite toy was Brenda, and remember when Brenda accidentally got thrown away, and then what happened? Mama had to come to the rescue and save her, didn't she?
This is What Did I Do with All That Poo? This was one of those nonfiction books where you got to learn all about what the zoos do with the animal poo. That was a fun one.
And then The Little Red Fort, about Ruby, who wanted to build a fort and asked her brothers to help, and they were like, no way! But then when the fort was finished, what happened? They wanted to play.
Then we have The Rabbit Listened, that sweet story about the little boy who had a really bad day, and all he needed was a friend to listen. And so Little Pink Rabbit shows up and ends up listening to him, and it makes the day so much better.
Oh, wow. Then Russell wrestles the relative. No, Russell wrestles the relatives. Sorry. How Russell gets to see all his relatives, and they're all wrestlers. And then how does Russell defeat Grandma, the best wrestler of the whole family? With a hug.
And then we have Shake the Tree. Remember, I had to open this book up like this, and the bear would shake the tree, and all he wanted was the acorn at the end.
Can I Be Your Dog? Such a good book about the puppy looking for a family and eventually got to go home with the mail lady.
What If was one of the first few books we read, and it was about the little girl who loved to create. But then in the story, what if she didn't have pencils? What if she didn't have paper? And so the book goes on to finally realize that if you have an imagination, you can create anything.
Mm-hmm. A Place for Pluto. Poor sad Pluto. He wasn't a planet anymore. But what happens is he eventually finds all kinds of friends that are just like him.
Now this one, Stegosaurus, is one that I did recently, and if you haven't seen it yet, you can go back and watch it. But it's about a little dinosaur and his family, and instead of being just a Stegosaurus, he actually is a Stegosaurus. He loves to use big words. So instead of saying little, he might say things like tiny, and he uses words that are better than the words that his brothers and sisters use. So that's Stegosaurus.
The Itchy book. Oh my goodness, I'm itchy just reading that title. About all those dinosaurs, the sign said do not itch, but they itched anyway. This is a good book.
This was How Are You, Como Esta? This is the one that was both English and Spanish, and it was the two animals that were talking to each other. So How Are You, Como Esta?
All right, Tangled. This is one Mrs. Ward's just done as well, and you can go back and look through the links to listen to her read it, about Circle, who gets stuck in the jungle gym, and Straight Line saves her.
This is the book Festival of Colors. We learned about the Indian festival Holihe and how they would take all of those different dyes and make this color, and then they'd throw it onto all your white clothing, and they would celebrate.
All right. People don't bite people, except gingerbread people, right? This was the book about how food is for biting and people are not.
Finally, our last book is Alma and How She Got Her Name, and it's about the little girl who had to find out why she had such a huge long name, and so she finds out all the history of where she came from. And we have Joan Proctor, Dragon Doctor, a book we don't have here today. I think someone checked it out, but it is about Joan, who becomes a scientist and works at the museum. right?
Right.
Okay, so those are our 20 books, and we are going to send you something to vote. I'm so excited we get to vote finally, and we'll let you know who the winner is next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great time.